and I hear the sound of abundance of rain, and I know my season is gotta change. Yes, declare and decree it. Now listen, I know you've been waiting for a long time, waiting for your change to come, crying out to God, Lord, how long until you heal me of this disease? How long, oh Lord, until you deliver my family from living paycheck to paycheck? But don't you give up, no, 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 because God told me to tell you, He's heard every prayer you prayed, your help is on the way. Lift your voice and sing, hey, it's mine.
Gospel 88.7 WEHA. It's more than music. It's ministry.
WEHA, Port Republic, Atlantic City. And now on FM translator 100.3 W262CF, Atlantic City. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily those of WEHA, Gospel 88.7 and 100.3 FM. We Have Gospel, Spread the Gospel Inc., or any of its sponsors. WEHA, Port Republic, Atlantic City. And now on FM translator 100.3 W262CF, Atlantic City, Pleasantville.
Online at wehavegospel.com. That's wehavegospel.com. Or phone 609-641-8870. That's 609-641-8870. It's time to get up close and personal with the Princess of Praise and Worship, Merritt Brown Clark at Beacon Hall. Powered by Gospel 88.7 WEHA. Spreading the gospel one song at a time. Don't miss it.
I want God. All I ever wanted was God. And I don't want to give him second
Expressed on the
best.
following show are not necessarily those of WEHA, Gospel 88.7 and 100.3 FM. We Have Gospel, Spread the Gospel Inc., or any of its sponsors. WEHA is a listener-supported radio station. To make a donation, call 609-641-8870. Visit our headquarters at 3 Canal Drive, Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, 08234. Or log on to our website, wehavegospel.com.
We Have Gospel.
Would you like to hear your company or church announcements or church broadcast on the airwaves of WHA? You can call our business office at 609-641-8870 for further details.
$9.99 available online at wehavegospel.com. That's wehavegospel.com. Or phone 609-641-8870. That's 609-641-8870. It's time to get up close and personal with the Princess of Praise and Worship, Merritt Brown Clark at Beacon Hall. Powered by Gospel 88.7 WEHA. Spreading the gospel.
If you just tuned in, you're listening to In the Community with Dr. Thelma Witherspoon, right here on your favorite gospel radio station, WEHA Gospel, 88.7, 100.3 FM. We Have Gospel. We are live in the studio today, and we have a wonderful program for you. This broadcast is being brought to you by the Hawks Family Businesses, who have been serving our community for over 30 years, and Beacon Hall, turning moments into memories, and also by Atlantic County freeholder Ernest Coursey and Susan Corngut. They are sponsors of In the Community with Dr. Thelma. So I want to thank them so much for being my sponsors on today. It is cold outside. It is truly cold outside. So if you have to go out, I know it's fall time, but the summer had lasted for a little while, and woo, and make sure you have a jacket. You may not be cold. You may say, Thelma, this is wonderful. It's wonderful, but I was freezing on this morning. There's a lot of things that are going on in our community, and certainly I take pride in making sure that my listening audience is aware of everything that is going on in the community. One thing, Diane Carroll, she passed away. May she rest in peace. A legend in her own way, paved the road for many people of color, African American women, to be on television for many, many years. And certainly she will be missed. She will be missed. Recently, we've had a lot of things going on. First, I want to congratulate Mayor Marty Small Sr. As mayor of Atlantic City. And we're going to support him and pray for him that give him all of the support that he needs to be successful in the position that he is in at this particular time. I want everyone to know we don't have that many days to go before the election. You have until October the 15th to register, change your name, change the location where you voted at in order to vote in this upcoming election on November the 5th. Now, there are no discrepancies at the poll. There are no discrepancies at the poll. When you go there to vote, excuse me, and it's not provisional ballot. I'm talking about going inside the booth. And you're voting in the booth. There's no discrepancy on the machine. All right? So you want to make sure that your vote is counted and that you are registered to vote in this particular election. I have not been a proponent for the change of government in Atlantic City, and there's reasons why. It's not because I don't like the people. That's not it. I don't dislike anyone. But it takes away, in my opinion, it takes, not just my opinion, this is a fact, it takes away the actual democracy out of the residents of selecting whom they want to represent them. In this form of government, if it changes in this particular way, the people no longer have a say-so. That is the reason why I have not been for the change. The state is, although the state is not responsible for this, but they have taken over. They took over Newark. They took over Patterson. They took over Camden. And in all of those takeovers, there has never been a change of government. The people still had a right to choose who they wanted to represent them. Even when Mayor James went to jail in Newark for corruption, they still did not take over the city of Newark. As a matter of fact, our now Senator Cory Booker became the mayor of the city of Newark. So that is one of the reasons why I am not a proponent for it. Also on the fact that Derek Brock, he is a businessman in Atlantic City. Jimmy Whitehead, they've been bringing different lights to this, is because they've heard people say deceitful things to people in order to get them to sign the petition. So that is another problem. Because if you're really right in what you're saying, you don't have to be deceitful. It's not for better roads. It's not for better playgrounds. It's not for any of that. It's to take full control over a municipality and take away all of the authority, because the authority right now is still limited. the people that are in office right now in Atlantic City have no, they have some say so, but at the end of the day, the state has the final say for them. So they'll lose all of that. So there'll be other 22 municipalities where can go to and vote for their people who they want to represent them. And if you don't like them, you vote them out. Now, I am praying for Mayor Frank, former Mayor Frank Gilliam and his family. You know, it was a sad day in Atlantic City. I would be less than a community person not to say that. However, what he done was personal. It had nothing to do with the city and corruption in the city. Did it give the city a black eye? Absolutely. Absolutely. However, he did not cause the $600 million deficit that is in the city currently. Now, the state has been in there for a long time, and I'm not throwing shade. I like the governor. I like the lieutenant governor. I like everything. I'm a Democrat. It has nothing to do with that. Democrat, Republican, Green Party, Independent. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with us having rights, constitutional rights in the United States of America. And I posted on my Facebook page a saying by Dr. Martin Luther King that we begin to die when we remain silent of things that really matter. And I feel it is my responsibility as a leader in this community to make sure that the constituents are fully aware. Now, if it goes that way, it goes to a referendum, they're going to have a special election, and that's what you choose, it's fine. But I want you to make a quality decision based on all of the facts, not looking at people saying, I'm just so sick of these people and I want to change the government. No. You change the people and you put the right people in that you feel that you want to represent you. Now, I'm not going to stay on that because we have a guest, but I just had to say it because it was on my heart and I had to put it out there. You had to put it out there, all right, and talk about it. And I've been doing a lot of reading, and it's not Black History Month. It's not a black thing or a white thing. It has nothing to do with that. It has something to do with the citizens of Atlantic City being able to have their voice in what they want, where they pay taxes. All right, so that's the reason why I'm against it. I'm not against Bob McDevitt. I've seen him in the newspaper. I'm not against the Leslie Act, former Leslie Act, but he lives in North Jersey. He doesn't live here. And I am sick and tired. And I don't live in Atlantic City anymore either, but I grew up there. But I am sick and tired of people coming from outside of our state. There's no pun intended. Coming outside of our communities and telling us how to run where we live. All right? So it's just food for thought. And I'm going to move on. We have live in the studio right now a person that I met a couple of years ago in the person of Nick Polito. He's a candidate for freeholder at large in Atlantic County. And I wanted to bring him here so people, just in case they don't know who Nick is. Who is Nick Polito? Thank you for coming on my show. Okay, I got to push the right button. Hold
on. Thanks for having me, Thelma. Appreciate it. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. So tell us who Nick Polito is.
Who's Nick Polito? All right, so I am a resident of Hamilton. I've been in Atlantic County for 30 years, actually going on my 31st year. Grew up in North Jersey in Sayreville. My parents moved to Galloway Township, like I said, 31 years ago. We, I started as a volunteer firefighter in 1992 in Galloway. I worked for the New Jersey Turnpike Authority. I've been there for 30 years, the whole time a union member. Also have a real estate license in Atlantic City at the Weichert office on Pacific Avenue. And so We moved to, so, all right, so I met my wife, Erica, 25 years ago.
She's
in
nice.
Port Republic, right.
She's very
Thank
nice.
Thank you. And so we got married, we built a house, and we eventually moved to Hamilton 12 years ago, where I'm also a volunteer firefighter there as well. We have 2 kids. They're in the school district in Hamilton. AJ's 15 and Gabriella's 10.
What boards have you served on in Hamilton?
Oh, right. So I've served on the zoning board for 3 years, and I've been on the Green Committee for 1. I used to be the president of the Hamilton Democrats, and I was the municipal chair. I had to step down once I announced my candidacy for the freeholder at large position.
Okay, so that's who Nick is. All right. Well, I'm glad that you are a part of my show, and you are part of what union?
Local 200 of the IFPTE, International Federation of Professional and Technical Engineers.
All right. So you're a union man. You've been out there in the trenches for a long time.
Long time.
A long time. Why did you decide to run?
Well, there was a thought process of, there's people out on the freeholder board that are it's a diverse group of people. But what I looked at was I don't see people like me up there. I don't see people that have a first responder history. I don't see somebody that may be a realtor up there and somebody that's in the public service sector. And a union guy as well. I know there's union guys up there, but
yeah,
I feel like I can bring a lot of different views to the table. And, I talk to people in the county. I know Cassandra Schober. Me and her talked about it. And she thought it was a great idea, and here we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's how you ran. Well, I've been following you, too.
Thank you.
And following your platform.
Great.
And so we want to talk about some of the things that you have on your platform. And this is all from your platform.
Yes, ma'am. No curveballs.
No curveballs. This is all from your platform
right,
and
right.
what you're standing for.
Right.
Now, one of the things I saw, and there was a newspaper article in the press,
right,
New Jersey Insider, on having a first responders building.
For central dispatch.
For central dispatch. Now, that was, a couple of years ago, everybody was just angry about this.
Right.
They didn't want it.
Right.
All right. And you saw it and looked at it and thought it was a great idea. Mm-hmm. I do want to ask you, why did you feel it is a great idea?
Well, so there's a couple of reasons. Number one, it's going to improve safety. It's going to reduce the response time of all fire, police, and EMS. You hear about these stories about, hey, I called the police and it took them 20 minutes to get to my house. We want to reduce things like that. We want to be able to get to the fire scene quickly, or if somebody's having a heart attack, you want to make sure that ambulance can get there quickly. That's number one, improve public safety. Number two, it's going to save money, taxpayer dollars, and that's usually the bottom line. Everybody wants to save taxpayer dollars. We're not, in my plan, if we're able to bring it over, we're not going to reduce jobs. We're going to take the existing dispatchers from all the different communities and bring them in. Usually what they have is a dispatch center, which is the normal dispatchers, but then you're also going to have a call center where instead of the dispatcher taking the phone call and then dispatching, you're going to have 2 separate rooms. The dispatchers will be in one room, call centers in the other. So nobody's losing jobs, but we will reduce costs for the county residents.
Now, let me ask you this. No one would lose a job, but would you reduce salaries? Because a lot of people who have been, say like in Egg Harbor Township, some municipalities right now source out their dispatch. Right? So I know at one time Buna was in Egg Harbor Township, but now they're in Franklin. Everybody was somewhere,
right.
Or either if you were large enough, you were able to keep your own dispatchers.
Sure.
Like Pleasantville, they had a small dispatch. They welcomed it. Egg Harbor Township didn't.
Yeah.
Buna didn't.
Mm-hmm.
It was a cost factor, and Weymouth didn't.
Right.
So I had a show, and I done a show on this
right
a few years ago. So I really wanted to know how would someone making a certain salary still maintain that salary under a new dispatch system?
That's a good question, and I definitely would have to look into that myself. I'm not exactly sure of all the particulars of this yet. The basic part of what I was saying is, if we were to bring centralized dispatch in, and you have a town like Weymouth Township, as you just suggested, and you have Atlantic City. Atlantic City is going to have, I don't know, let's just throw a number out there of 8,000 calls a year, which I'm not sure what it is. And then you have Weymouth, it's probably going to only have, like, say, 300 calls a year because it's just a very quiet town. I don't believe that one town like Atlantic City should pay the same amount that Weymouth pays. So the towns are going to be more on a fee-based system. I know that's not exactly answering your question about the actual pay scale. That's, like I said, we're going to have to look into that. But the municipalities are going to pay by what they use, and that'll at least cover that part of it. Moving on to
what about
salaries?
That's fair. You're going to have to look into that.
Sure.
Safety. The other issue was that how would a central dispatch center know all of the streets? You're from Hamilton.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So you know every street in Hamilton, right?
Pretty comfortable.
You're pretty comfortable. You're a volunteer firefighter.
Right.
So you pretty much know every street. If it was centralized, how would a dispatcher know exactly every street in that particular municipality? We got 23.
Yeah.
So it was a safety issue. Now you're saying it would be more safer. How would that work? Because that was a question.
It's a good question. I'm gonna just say that I'd like to think that we're gonna have, maybe set up the county in quadrants of some sort. You're gonna have one dispatcher that's gonna handle the Atlantic City, Pleasantville, all the Down Beach areas, and maybe Brigantine. So it's a more centralized area. Kind of like the Freeholder Board set up in a little districts. I don't know all the particulars. Again, but that could be an idea that you work with different corners of the county. Again, if you're bringing in the same dispatchers that are already existing,
right?
They already know their areas, so you can use those people for those areas.
But I'm just gonna let you say you're gonna look into that.
I'll look into that as well.
All right, I'll let you look into that. I'll get you off on that one, okay?
Thanks.
All right, so. But it was just some of the questions.
Yeah.
Now,
absolutely.
If all of your constituents, because you're running at large.
Yes, ma'am.
And if the majority of your constituents say, Nick Polito, if you're successful, we don't want it.
Oh, well.
Would you still push for it, or would you?
Well, no. I work for the taxpayers. I mean, if the taxpayers say no, then it's a moot point.
Okay.
End of story.
All right. Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Right.
Yeah, that's real fair. We have a couple of minutes, and we're going to start on this conversation before I go into a break. I want to talk a little bit about, I also saw, well, let's talk about this. You are for clean energy. I am too. That's a part of your platform?
Yes.
And why is that?
At a very young age, I remember reading Popular Mechanics and seeing all the different articles about solar energy and wind energy, and this is years ago. And then most recently, in a past couple of years, being on the zoning board in Hamilton, 80% of all the applications were for solar energy. Whether they be roof-mounted solar panels or ground-mounted arrays. I couldn't say yes quick enough. To get energy from the sun, and it doesn't cause emissions. It's not putting any bad smoke into the area. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just clean energy. I don't see anything wrong with it. It should be utilized everywhere. If I was elected to the Freeholder Board, that's something that I'd be pushing for on every county building, at minimum, having solar panels. And here you got three things from it. It's cleaner for the environment.
Right.
It's going to save money long run. Over a long period of time, it's going to save money for the taxpayers. And number three, it's going to bring jobs to the region, construction jobs. If you're putting in all those solar panels all over the county, and start it with our county buildings, and then maybe hope to move on to the municipalities and have every rooftop with a solar panel on it, That'd be fantastic.
That absolutely. Now, it is said that the grid can't handle all of that. Is that true?
That's a good question. I don't know. I do not work for the grid. I'll let the guys over at Atlantic Electric figure that one out.
They won't be able to handle,
Right.
all of that. So what would be the plan in the event that they did go all solar, which I'm not against. I'm in for clean energy.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that they're able to accommodate
It's a good
the
question.
change.
It's a good question.
All right. Well, we're getting ready for a break, and then we're going to come back and continue our conversation.
Thank you.
We're here with Nick Polito. He is a candidate for Atlantic County Freeholder at Large. Keep those dials locked at WEHA 88.7, 100.3 FM. We have gospel. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Christ-centered, community-focused, listener-supported gospel. 88.7 and 100.3 FM, Atlantic City, WEHA. Don't forget to follow us on social media by searching We Have Gospel on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Find out more at www.wehavegospel.com.
Do you have an event coming up and need a facility? Well, let me tell you about Atlantic County's newest banquet facility, Beacon Hall, located in the heart of Egg Harbor City, right off the White Horse Pike. Beacon Hall is a full-service banquet facility that is 5,000 square feet with an attached parking lot. Book your conferences, book signings, birthday parties, bridal showers, baby showers, weddings, repasts. No event is too big or too small. You can book your next event by calling us at 609-965-4255 or email us at bookbeaconhall@gmail.com. That's BOOKBEACONHALL @gmail.com. Try Beacon Hall, where we turn moments into cherished memories.
Gospel 88.7 and 100.3 FM, WEHA, We Have Gospel, proudly celebrates its 10-year anniversary, spreading the gospel one song at a time, from 2009 to 2019 and beyond. To God be the glory, glory, glory.
If you just tune in, you're listening to In the Community with Dr. Thelma Witherspoon, right here on your favorite gospel radio station, WEHA Gospel, 88.7, 100.3 FM. We have gospel. I have some tickets here. But before I say this, I have to let you know that this broadcast has been brought to you by the Hawks family businesses who've been serving our community for over 30 years, and Beacon Hall, turning moments into memories, and also Atlantic County Freeholder Ernest Corsi and Susan Corngut. So thank you for my sponsorship on this month. I do have some tickets here for Black Girls Rock, and I want to be able to give those tickets out. They were donated by Shalonda Austin in my care mentoring program, and that's going to be held on next Friday. So if you want to, I have 4 tickets. I'm going to give them out 2 sets. Call me at 609-641-8870. We're going to continue our conversation with my guest, Nick Polito. He is a candidate for Atlantic County Freeholder at Large. Now, when I interview people, I view their material. So all of my questions are based on your material, all right?
Sounds good.
All right. One of the things that were on your platform was ACIT.
Okay.
Now, I have to let everyone know first, I work at ACIT. So these questions are not coming up because I work
Loaded.
Because some people say, well, Thelma, you're taking up for ACIT because that's where you work at. That's not it.
Gotcha.
All right?
Yep.
But it's on your platform.
It is.
All right? And so I wanted to talk about why did you choose that as a platform?
Okay.
Because we have our children at state. They are doing a great job out there
Right.
at ACIT.
They are.
So what is the issue?
Well, basically, I mean, you're absolutely right. ACIT is a fantastic idea. You're getting the kids that may not be ready for college, whether they be late bloomers or they want to learn a trade. ACIT is a fantastic idea. The problem, though, is when you're sending, like I'll just use Superintendent Keener over of the Great Egg Harbor Regional.
Hold on, I have a call on the line.
Oh.
Yes, I have a call on the line. Hello? Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. I have a call on the line.
Yes, I am calling to see if you have given the tickets for Black Girl Rockaway yet.
No, I haven't, and thank you for calling In the Community with Dr. Thelma. Who am I speaking with?
My name is Tanya.
Tanya. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good, Tanya. I don't have anyone to take down this information, but you have won 2 tickets to Great Black Girls Rock.
Yes.
Can you call me after my show? And I will, at the same radio number, 609-641-8870. And I will make sure that you arrange that you get these tickets. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much. I can continue listening now.
Thank you.
Hi, Tanya.
Have a great day.
You too. All right. So, we were talking about ACIT. Congratulations to Tanya.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So, Great Egg Harbor Regional, which was Superintendent, excuse me, Keener, had brought up the issue with his district of sending all that money that follows the students, which then comes out of his budget. When the money comes out of his budget, it's going to reduce size of classes. Actually, it's going to increase the size of classes because now he can't afford to pay X amount of teachers. The programs for the students are going to be not available because, again, you just lost a couple teachers. It's a great thing for ACIT, but unfortunately, those sending districts are losing programs, and they can't keep up with the increase in the tuition that ACIT is sending back to the school districts.
So is it fair to the student? I mean, how do you tell? I understand that.
Yeah.
It's a dilemma.
It is a dilemma. And
It's
a
definitely
lot
a
of moving
dilemma.
parts.
It's a lot
not-
of moving
yeah.
parts to it, right? It
Yep.
is a dilemma. But how do you tell a parent where they can send their child?
Yeah, I know. You're right. It's a problem. It's I don't know the answer to it. I just something that I thought that could be the minimum at minimum would be if we could. So in a municipality, they're capped at 2% on their growth rate.
Right,
for
which
taxes.
is a state.
Right. It was mandated
by
by
the
the state.
state.
Right. And I know, obviously, the county doesn't fall under the state in that respect, but maybe if the state was to say, all right, well, the county has to follow that same 2% growth rate, maybe it would become a more of a level playing field from the regular regional district high schools and the county district high school. That way, maybe, our regular high schools can catch up on these programs and maybe bring in the same type of programs that ACIT is bringing in, to the AP programs. Don't want to see anything happen against ACIT. Again, I think it's a great organization, but we have to level it out so that our regular high schools are not suffering as well.
Right, and I don't disagree with that. I just think that if it's capped at the state level, that fighting it at a local level is not enough.
Yeah.
The state
Yep.
makes that determination.
So kick it up to the state.
It needs to be kicked up to the
Right.
state.
Fair enough.
And there are a lot of municipalities, not just Greater Egg. They're suffering. Well, I guess one of the most.
Yeah, I think they have the most students coming out.
They have the most students coming out, but there are students coming out of every municipality.
Absolutely.
Going to ACIT.
Yep.
And like you say, everybody's not college material.
No.
There's 23. We have 23 municipalities
Right.
in Atlantic County. There's only 1,700 students at ACIT.
Yeah.
So
Somebody's getting turned back.
Yes.
There are kids that are not able to go and they really wanted to go.
Right.
And that's a shame.
And they can go if there's an expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
why? And right, you're absolutely right. But why? How about ACIT sends like satellite campuses to all these different high schools.
Why would I do
And-
that? Why would they do that?
I don't know. I
Because
mean,
I'm not in charge.
it's for the kids.
Yeah, but
it's for the kids.
Yeah, but
you know.
I'm not in charge. I'm not in,
Neither am I. I know.
you know, but
Yeah.
it's a hot topic.
Yeah,
And it's-
no, yeah, we everybody. I mean, thankfully, the superintendents are actually having meetings now with the
Which is
county,
good.
which is
is
great.
good.
There's a conversation going on now, so hopefully they can come to some sort of agreement that'll be the best for the kids. That's what it boils down to. It's not politics. It's not.
It's politics. It's money. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's money.
right. It's money. It's,
It's
money
money.
and kids, and you know.
So do you pick the kids? Or do you pick the money? Do you pick the money? Do you pick the kids?
It's tough.
It's tough. And
Tough.
these are some of the if you were elected, some of the decisions that you
Yeah.
have to make
Yep.
as being on the freeholder
You're right.
board. You know, so that's something that's out there. And like I know Atlantic City. I used to be a former board member, president
Okay.
in Atlantic City. I do know that they have students coming from there. I don't no longer live in Atlantic City.
Right.
I'm in Hamilton Township now. I love it there.
Right.
But they have a great AP program.
Right.
So one of the best in the country. And they send the most kids to universities from Atlantic High.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not talked about. But they developed a program so where people want to keep their kids
Right.
at Atlantic City High School because of
great.
the AP program.
That's great.
So also, we can't just put everything on one school or the state.
Right.
We have to become creative and proactive in our districts
Right.
to make kids not want to leave.
Right. Exactly.
So parents won't. They'll say, "Wait a minute, wait. Nope,
Right.
you want to do this, and they have the best program for this." I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to fix it, but I do think that the 2% cap has to come from the state.
Sure. Of course.
You know, if everybody else is following that, which means that's mandated, and they're not,
Right.
whose fault is it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
So that's one of the issues. I don't know how that's going to be fixed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's going to be a lot of conversations moving forward, obviously, and I guess stay tuned. You know?
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Moving right along, we're going to talk about now the change of government
Okay.
in Atlantic City. Where do you stand on it?
The residents of Atlantic City, it's their city, and they should have the ultimate say. Nobody else should be interfering in their elections. Nobody ever, it should all be whoever lives there makes the decision. End of
Right.
story.
Right. And I'm really been talking about this, and sometimes when you talk about things that are not popular, you're looked at like a troublemaker.
Right.
I'm not. I just want to make sure that people are aware
Right.
on if this changes. I was a part of the Commission of Form of Government when I first started in 1981, when Mayor Lazaro
Wow.
was the mayor.
Gotcha.
Mike Matthews, Commissioner Bryant, Harance Bryant, Clancy were commissioners. So I'm going back.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was a change of government, maybe
Okay.
15 years later or 10 years into the current form of government,
Okay.
a council, and dividing it up. So it was more than 3 people
Right.
with all of that type of responsibility,
Yeah.
which I was for that. I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But to now come in and take all of that authority away after the people have voted for it
Right.
and have a manager, the people now no longer have a say so.
Yeah. No, it's not good.
That's not good.
Not at
That's
all.
why I'm not for it. I'm not for it.
Yeah. You have 6 wards down there in Atlantic City.
Right.
And they should be represented by the people that live in those wards. And that's where it is, and that's the way it should stay.
Absolutely. So I'm on the same page. I'm not just saying that.
No, neither am I. I mean, I've going to different communities. You meet all these different people. So in the 6th ward, I mean, these guys, they live there. They should, and not guys. These people, they live there, and they should be able to represent the community that they live in. Atlantic City is much bigger than most of the other communities in our county. So normally, like in Hamilton, we don't have wards. They just they're basically at-large candidates. There's 3 seats up in Hamilton right now, and they can be from anywhere in the town. But because it's a small town. But Atlantic City is such a big city. They need to be represented by the people that live in their neighborhood. And that's the end of it. I mean, that's my final answer.
Final answer. In Hamilton, you also have a group called Hamilton First.
We do.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I lived in Atlantic County all my life.
Yep.
And I went there to a meeting. I heard about it.
Okay.
And this is Republicans, Democrats, Independents.
Yeah, it's a bipartisan group made
Right.
up of everybody. I know we have registered Democrats in there. I've been trying to woo them back to our side of the table, but they're happy there, and they're doing a good job. Don't get me wrong. There are Republicans in there, and there are Independents in there. They're all good people. Their whole philosophy is literally Hamilton first. They don't
get in the party lines.
Yeah, no. It's just what's best for Hamilton is is what they're going for. We have Republicans in town as well. There's a Republican Party, and then there's us Democrats.
Yeah.
But because there are three different groups in that one party, they've remained in control for a number of years. I mean, I've been in Hamilton going on 13 years now, and they've had control the whole time, and I believe it's been a lot longer than that as well. But for the time that I've been there, they've been in control.
Basically, because they put Hamilton first.
Yeah.
And I think they won an award in 2017 for the district lights, the lighting in the downtown.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The downtown.
They just actually, they just got 2 grants actually from the, Community Affairs, DCA. Sheila Oliver actually came down and presented them with 2 different grants. And they were the only community in New Jersey that got these 2 grants. And
what
from
were they
for the downtown community, downtown Hamilton was one of them. And I forget what the other one was. Don't quote me. It's on my Facebook. I could look it up.
I know. I saw that, and I was trying to read that, but I didn't have
It was
enough
pretty
time.
cool. Yeah. And there were 2 other communities that got it that day. Egg Harbor City, Mayor G. Petty came down, and then Pleasantville got one as well, and Mayor Tweedle was there that day.
Oh, wow.
So it was really cool. I got to see all this going on. But again, Hamilton got 2, and it was amazing. I mean, they work hard. You know, as a Democrat and my friends who are Republicans, they may not like Hamilton First because, they're not in control, but they are doing good things for the community. They really are. They're working hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I didn't know about that. The only thing I didn't know about, and thank you for introducing me in 2017, my dad knew about it, though.
Oh, yeah.
Was the carnival that y'all been having for over 100.
Right. I remember you came down. That's right.
And tell my listening audience about that in case they don't know.
All right, so Hamilton has what they call the Our Lady of Mount Carmel Festival. The Our Lady of Mount Carmel Society, you threw me off here. I think they're in their 120th year.
Yeah.
Is that the right
It's
number?
over 100 years.
Yeah, very much so. So they've been doing this. It's the longest Italian running festival in the nation. And people from all over South Jersey come. It's really great. The food, the culture, the music. Jerry Blavitt comes down and does one side for the older crowd. I'll just say I don't want to offend anybody. And then they have bands at the other side of the Mount Carmel Society, which is for the younger crowd. And then there's another band that usually goes over by St. Joe's. Actually, it's St. Mary. St. Mary's of Mount Carmel Parish now. So they got 3 bands going. The music, the food, it's just a great place to take your kids. And then, of course, they got the carnival for the kids. So Thelma came down when she ran for freeholder at large as well.
Yeah.
And, we escorted her through the fairground, and it was awesome. You really
excellent.
meet a lot of people, and they're not just from Hamilton. They're from all over the county.
And also outside of
I'm sure.
Yeah, that was a great affair. So when is that? That's normally in the summer.
I think it starts usually around the 10th or 11th, and the day of the feast, July. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The day of the feast is July 16th every year.
All right. So I wanted to let everyone know that.
Yeah.
We're going to move right along because we only have a few more minutes. Seems like our time just goes by so fast.
Yep.
Also on your, but thank you for letting my listening audience know about that.
You're welcome.
If you've never
Absolutely.
been, you need to go.
Please.
You were talking about opioid, the heroin epidemic.
Yeah.
taking the lives of our young people and older people.
Sure, everybody.
You know, everybody. That's a part of your platform.
Yep.
I wanted to add vaping.
Vaping, that's definitely something new, but yeah.
Yeah, to it. Now, the people want to ban vaping, but they don't want to.
Is it vaping, or they're banning the flavored vape liquid now? I think that's what the governor just said. He's banning the flavored liquid. You could still vape, but just on that clear. I think that's the article I read. So basically, with the opioid epidemic, you know, there's a lot of people. No matter where you go, you're going to run into somebody that's been affected by it. You know, whether it be a grandchild or a father or an uncle. It's hitting every demographic. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. People are being affected by it. And so, actually, probably about 2 years ago, when I met Eric Scheffler, he formed, Sheriff Scheffler formed two things. He formed the Atlantic County Sheriff's Association, and then he formed the Hope One van for Atlantic County. So the Sheriff's Association funds the Hope One van through donations and corporate sponsors. And I think he's got an amazing program going where this van drives from different municipalities and targets areas where people that are suffering from the substance abuse can, they talk to them about getting, help if they want to, and it's they have to be willing to do it. He gets them to sign up, and that same day he puts them in a recovery program in a bed, and it's no charge to the taxpayer. It's no charge to the person going through it.
I have to have him on the show to find out how he's paying for it.
Donations and corporate sponsors, from what I understand. I think that's amazing. And I was talking to him last week. I think he was up to 389 people just this year alone that he's put into the programs. That's what we need. And if I was to get on the freeholder board, I would like to see that become part of his unit. Come and give him money towards his sheriff's department to fund that.
Budget it.
Yeah, exactly. Put it in the budget, expand it, make it. That's the after part of the opioid crisis. Maybe get something more on the side also for preventive as well. You know what I mean? Give him all that.
Right.
And he's doing a fantastic job of it right now. So let's run with this here.
That's something good. Now I understand, and I don't want to throw shade. But the guards are very low in pay.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Lowest in the state of New Jersey.
Lowest in the state of New Jersey.
All county workers in Atlantic County lowest in the.
So if you were elected,
something wrong there.
If you were elected, how would you see? Let me say this.
Yeah.
I was formally elected, and when I ran the first time, I just thought I was going to do all these things, and then when I got on, I couldn't do everything that I wanted to do.
Right.
But how would you help?
Well, being a union member, everything is about collective bargaining. I would just say that I would be open to trying to help them. Obviously, we can't give raises for everybody for everything, but we're going to work with them. We're going to, if we're the lowest paid sheriff's officers in the state of New Jersey, what's happening? You know what's happening? Those guys are not staying in sheriff's department. They're gonna
leave.
They're gonna leave, right? So we have to give competitive price, wages, so that they want to stay. They want to stay in Atlantic County. They want to work here, and they want to, raise their families. I also was talking to somebody in the welfare office. They were telling me how they're the lowest paid in the state of New Jersey as well. It doesn't make sense that you're in the welfare office, which has got to be a very stressful job, trying to help people get the assistance that they need, and yet you're almost at the level of needing assistance. That's not fair. We got to take care of our employees better.
I am not still on the air, and we are, but it came up. We were just getting really into our what we were talking about. Hold on.
Gospel 88.7 and 100.3 FM. WEHA, We Have Gospel, proudly celebrates its 10-year anniversary, spreading the gospel one song at a time.
Between my 2 kids and my husband, we spend a lot of time at our Atlanticare Urgent Care Center.
Atlanticare Urgent Care Centers are located throughout South Jersey, staffed with board-certified providers, registered nurses, and X-ray technologists. We provide care for non-life-threatening emergencies and illnesses 7 days a week without an appointment. X-ray and lab services on site.
It's the urgent care I know I can trust.
For locations, visit atlanticare.org/urgent.
All right. All right. I just want to give my give you a few minutes, Nick, to give us a close.
Thank you. Well, November 5th is about 32 days away. I really appreciate your time today, Thelma, and I hope everybody that's listening will consider me for the election for Atlantic County Freeholder at Large. I'd also ask that you consider Susan Corngut for county executive.
I can't do that because we're nonprofit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah, but you can't tell people to vote.
Okay. Please come out and vote November 5th. And check me out on Facebook, Nick Polito for Freeholder. Instagram, same thing, Polito for Freeholder. And Twitter, vote for Polito. Please check me out. And if you like what you see, give me a vote.
All right. It's very important for everyone to go out and vote on November the 5th. Yep. That's when the election is going to be. If you are a person who has voted by mail, and that's another option. You
ballots are out.
The ballots are out. If you receive one and you never got an opportunity to tell the county you didn't want to vote that way this time, that's the way you're going to vote. Okay? Yep. So if you didn't, you had a deadline in order to change that.
Right.
So if you say last year you went on vacation and you voted by mail, but this year by September the 13th or 15th you didn't tell the county that's not the way you wanted to vote, it's already set in stone. So therefore use that ballot to make sure that you're able to go out and vote. You can also go to the county clerk's office and vote on the Saturday, November the 2nd, and they can assist you out there with your vote by mail ballot as well. Nick, I want to thank you for coming and being a part of my show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It was an easy conversation, but I like the fact that you didn't back away from it. And it's things that are going on in our community that I believe that can be resolved.
Sure.
And with the people that
we
have,
work.
It has to work.
Yeah.
We can't just talk about the problems and not the solutions of the problems that are going on in our community. So I'm really happy to meet you. You're one of the nicest. Your spirit is nice.
Thank you.
The nicest spirit, and your family is nice. Your wife is nice. Your kids are nice, and I wish you the best.
Thank you.
In the election coming up, it takes a lot to run for office because you're going a lot. You got to put yourself out there. People don't realize that it's not just having your name on a poster and the right flyer, the right picture, and all of that. It's a lot of work.
23 towns in Atlantic County. It's a lot of miles to cover.
It's a lot of miles to cover, especially when you're going at large.
Yeah.
Especially when you're going at large. So my head is out to offer anyone who decides to run for office and do the things that they choose to do. And I'm just happy that you put your head out there.
Thanks.
And you'll be good at whatever you do.
I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I want to thank everyone who tuned into my show today, In the Community with Dr. Thelma Witherspoon, right here on your favorite gospel radio station. Did you enjoy our program today? I know you did. Thanks for tuning in to In the Community with Dr. Thelma Witherspoon right here on your favorite gospel radio station, WEHA Gospel, 88.7, 100.3 FM. We have gospel. Keep those dials locked to WEHA.
Your company or church announcements or church broadcast on the airwaves of WHA, you can call